It starts with my body, my own bundled bag of bones and flesh that seems to belong to everyone but myself. A feminine form and a point of contention for the rest of society. Created within my mother's womb, it ebbs and flows with the seasons, bleeding with a cyclical rhythm and a drumbeat of emotion in a state of constant flux. It exists within logical, rational frameworks when everything is calling me to see the magic, the unexplainable, and enter into the chaos of the unknown in all its beauty. My body holds the scars of the wounds inflicted on my mother, as her own culture was suffocated from her, stripped with reckless abandon and shunned into silence. I am left piecing together the puzzle of lost culture and finding fragments where I can as I try to reconnect. My body is a battlefield, but I'm learning to honor her, salve my wounds, and reknit my own bones. I run to feel my own strength, filling my lungs with air gifted by the trees, my feet hitting steadily on the pavement. A creature of habit, I always take the same route, straying only occasionally. The route holds a familiarity and a comfort that I have memorized with my body, learning every curve and noticing every state and seasonal shift. Out from my house, tucked behind an archway of trees, past the construction and its ever-changing array of materials and debris, past the metal gates that blackberries sometimes grow through, and bending my knees to catch the rebound of the steady slope down to the water. The hum of cars and buses await me at the intersection as I impatiently wait for the light to turn. Walk sign. Go. I blur past the houses until I hit the second set of lights and admire the large row of trees that tower above me across the street. My patience now extended as I know I'm about to enter into my favorite world, a place where creatures roam and intermingle amongst the houses and where nature becomes unruly in her design. The concrete path turns to soil as water fills the ditch on my right, a spontaneous habitat where ducks flock and herons wade. Horses walk the streets and the houses start to grow in size, intermixed amongst stables. I dodge the spots of horse manure on the road like my own personal obstacle course. Right turn, horse stable parking. Left turn, large construction site. Mansion, and I make it to the riverfront. With deep breaths, I control my breathing through tree tunnels along the pathway sandwiched between the water and the golf course, across the wooden bridge and the stormwater pond where I once watched a heron hunt. The sun dances along the water as I take note of the tide level. It breathes in with the moon and out when she disappears, these cycles echoed within the confines of my own body, as I too enter my own periods of reclusion. I look out to see if I can catch any sea lion heads bobbing in the water, a rare occurrence, but you never know. Sign with an arrow, people fishing, right turn. I now enter the bridge space, with greenery scaling the fences on either side of me, the houses on my left becoming more humble with increasing signs of life left astray in their yards. This is the invisible line that exists between Dunbar Southlands and Musqueam Nation. This line, too, is drawn within my own body, navigating the fracture of my Cree identity and whiteness. I walk this line, never fitting completely within either one on a constant tightrope. A large cedar trunk greets me as I enter the park. My vision fills with green as I am dwarfed by the trees, and I feel my smallness. I take in their textures as they reach to the sky, each tree with its own expression of nobular limbs and curved spines. Water consistently steeps the soil on my left, and on my right, clearings and spontaneous water pools peek through the columns of tree trunks. This part of my run is only a block long, but it's what I've come to see and the peak of my journey. And I start back up the steady slope home. Houses, houses, more houses. I note my favorites. I round the corner and I can see the tree archway that conceals yet marks my house. I jump up the cobblestone steps, wind through the meandering path that cuts through the front garden, and open the door. Home. It starts with my body as I start to slow down. I no longer speed through that tunnel of green, but instead I stop my music, surrender my senses, and offer my full attention, presence, and time as I enter her. I start to sit with trees. I ask them first if I can sit with them before cuddling up at their base. I close my eyes and let the darkness envelop me, transporting me to a place where time bends and my senses expand. When I leave, I always say, "Thank you." It was within these moments of stillness where I first saw something with my eyes closed. It started as shapes and colors forming behind my eyes until they exposed into a picture of a heron. I relaxed, held my focus, and the image got clearer. I tunneled into the heron's eye and then saw it fly across my vision with steady beats of its wings. It also started to dance. The image then shifted to two eyes blinking and peering back at me from inside the skins of my own eyelids. Slow blinks. I planned 2 sight engagement sessions at sunrise and sunset, 2 hours each, 1 hour with my eyes open, notating everything I see, sense, and hear with full presence, and 1 hour attempted with my eyes closed. With my eyes opened, I experienced the visceral decay of the forest ground cover in all its imperfection. Notice the preferences of the worms, ferns, and ivy, and listen to the consistent cacophony of animal noises and imprints overlaid against our own clamor of car noise, airplanes, and construction. It led me to notice how the forest animates and shatters with the wind and the rain, and how everything blends together in darkness and shadow. It revealed how the ordinary becomes rich with meaning through awareness, time, and presence, and how my body instinctively synced, echoed, and entwined itself with the shifting rhythms of the environment. It also led me into intimate interactions with things we deem inanimate, such as celestial objects miles and miles away. December 15th, 2024, 4:23 p.m. I start to get bored and my eyes start to fixate on a star hung in the sky framed by tree limbs. The star seems to dance and move as I try to sharpen my focus, evading me. As I try to hold focus, everything else shifts out, and my vision starts to oscillate between the star and the imprint of the forest foliage on my vision, now a kaleidoscope of netted black and blue. On the same night, with my eyes closed, I saw an animal sauntering away with a glowing light emanating from it. Spiraling flowers with lit tendrils, and was tunneled through a portal of pink petals with spiraled red and green tulips awaiting at the end. Interrupting my eyes closed experience was the light of the full moon tapping me on my shoulder and staring at me through the bushes, her form morphing into various animals and imagery as the tree branches were cast upon her moonlight. Strange, strange, beautiful, known and unknown things. As I am tunneled down a rabbit hole, I did not know I would fall. as worlds of living, shifting shadows open, fractal webs and spinning flowers usher me in to a place where morphing moons speak with their light. It was as if I had stepped through a doorway into another world, one of living, transforming, and chattering matter, eager to reveal, to show, and speak through their movement, leaving me questioning, head spinning, and suspended somewhere blurred between reality and a dream. I've now come to realize that worlds exist between, access through the sleight of eye, that you can see with eyes closed through doorways within, and that all things come together in motion, sound, and shadow. I now live in an animate world where every object, plant, animal, insect, and element are alive in their own inherent right, essence, and beauty as alive, animated matter and form. Every moment an opportunity to engage, interact, and hold space. I now say hello to the water and make eyes with the textured eye spots on the barks of trees. I know they see me, recognize me, and have mapped my contours to the same intimacy, from my scent to my sound to my shadow and motion. I study her blueprint for creation, as I will not put anything inside of her that does not follow her design. I map her geometry of golden ratios, triangles, angles, and numbers that access the infinite. Fractal webs and spirals, so many spirals. From our galaxy to our orbital loops, to the arrangement of seeds, leaves, growth patterns, and to the vortex of my own heart. This is the starting point. First, with the decagon, mimicking petal arrangements, the forms of our own DNA, and the sound waves that ripple through our eardrums. Then layer the lute of Pythagoras, a self-similar recursive geometry of interlocking pentagrams, reaching indefinitely in both directions. I then carve out petal patterns from these outlines, their curvatures echoing the sacred structure of the seed of life, the geometry of creation, early embryos, and becoming. I then weave colors and patterns in spiral formation, looping throughout with inward and outward expansion, creating a kaleidoscope of spiraling color and space. Her base geometry is inspired by the sweat lodge, a sacred structure made from flexible saplings, covered with blankets and animal hides, and heated with steam poured over hot grandfather rocks. They are places of purification, healing, and connection with spirit, the self, ancestors, and the land. They are the wombs of the earth and places to be born again. Here, the stones are not heated, but instead anchoring, the space not enclosed, but instead connecting. This is the roadmap. However, if she does not want to conform, I will not force her. I welcome her input and will adjust to her chaos. I start to work with her bearings, the twigs, branches, and plant matter she offers. However, I will not reap her when I gather her fruits. I offer her milk carried in a jar from home and some of my favorite seashells collected from the beach as offerings. I cannot repair or reverse the damage that has been done, but I will respect her when I take things. If she does not want to give, I will yield. I gather rocks from the river's edge and am followed home by the full moon, her glow a silent form of support. I collect cedar branches from 5 dead cedar trees from my forest clearing. While walking home, find myself at an impasse, eyes locked, with a coyote. On my way down to sight, I catch pieces of poems, spot a heron, and she encircles me. It sends ripples through my heart, and I swear they know me. I am gifted red osier dogwood, the plant of bloodlines, ancestors, and rebirth. I gather quaking aspen saplings, the trees grown from kinship, interdependence, and their leaves a reminder to listen deeper. I gather ivy from my sight and weave it into spiraled rope, an active act of reclamation and reweaving. I gather, I weave, I gather, I weave, and she begins to take form. It starts with your body, through a portal of ever-transforming greenery, to a forest clearing where 2 options of paths await your choice. Choose to weave through the quaking aspens or greet the Oregon grape. Gently navigate the array of sticks across the ivy and periwinkle carpet, and you'll find her, cradled beneath twisted Gary oak arms. Here she spins her fractal web of tangled, spiraling color, woven from plant matter and grown in and with over time. She morphs with the shadows, seasons, and sunlight of her surroundings, offering a place of cradled stillness, spiraled time, and altered seeing. Enter her space. Sit for as long as you need, and let me know what you see. I have fallen completely into her arms, and maybe you will too.